is day 2 here at Insomnia, number 71 in the UK, and we're with the British Army eSports team again at their stage. We've got folks already hard at work practicing for the upcoming races. We've got a 1v1 bracket tournament just like we did yesterday and just like we will tomorrow. Joining me today is world record master himself, Splen. How are you doing?
Good morning, everyone. Hello. Wow, I woke up this morning, kicked myself into gear, and I'm ready to help this racing action get started.
It's quite the hour for you.
Yeah, it's over here in the States, at least where I'm at, it is 5:46 a.m. So I've got my cup of coffee, my water, and all my good friends here ready to get me going.
So you watched yesterday. You got a glimpse of the action on day 1. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts are I was not actually expecting how competitive it was. It was a joy to watch, in fact, and I hope we see the same amount of competitiveness today.
Foggy, Shay now. Foggy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
We've got some, let's see, what am I hearing? All right, let's get that sorted. Yeah, dude, I agree completely. Isn't it so cool to finally have Star Citizen at like real life events other than CitizenCon itself?
It's like waking up into a dream. Like, that is real life. It's incredible. You know, I've waited for this moment for a long time.
I mean, it's true. I was gonna ask you. You've been playing Star Citizen forever. You've been doing. I mean, there must have been a point where you were the only guy submitting stuff for Arena Commander Racing.
No, I mean, back in the day, there was definitely some. There was a good posse of us, but out of the old crew, yeah, I mean. The Ninjetti's with us, thank goodness. It's nice to see him around. I'd like to see some more of the older guys get back into it. But yeah, I mean, 2015 was the first time I remember going into Arena Commander and being like, oh wow, wait a minute, this is something else. This is actually something that could catch on, and I've been hooked ever since.
What patch version is that?
Woo! This would have been like 2.3, I think.
Wow,
long time ago.
So when I tell you that I joined in 3.13, I sound like a rookie?
Yeah, a little bit, but that's
fresh.
Okay. I mean,
a little fresh.
The flight model has changed enough since then that everyone's a little bit fresh, honestly.
Yeah, that's the truth, isn't it? Because there have been so many changes. There are still so many changes coming. So I joined in 3.13, which was, I think it was when we hit 3.14 that there was like a sort of big change with thruster powers and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so there was a major flight model change in 3.10, and then again in 3.14 we did get some adjustments that made it feel a little bit different.
So you saw Fraggers win yesterday.
I did.
Thoughts?
It was a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, thoughts on
my thoughts are, really a bit of a mirror of what you guys thought. Slow and steady wins the race, and he really showed it. Keep your nerves under control, stick to your guns, and don't hotboy it. Get it going.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So we've got
it looks like we're on the starting line here.
Yeah, I think so. I think
these guys ready to go.
There's been so much practice going on. We'll wait for Luigi. So Luigi, as our race director, he'll keep us in the know about when exactly we're ready to go racing. We can take a quick look at the track because obviously today we've got the new PTU version of the Snake Pit, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's been so cool watching the development of these tracks and making their way to Arena Commander with these amazing holograms.
That's right.
The
Snake Pit, extra special because that is the first. It is an XGR course designed by XGR and added into the game as a canon location by the CIG devs shortly after its inception. The first ever racetrack to do that in Star Citizen history. So a very, very important track here, and it's gonna be fun watching these guys tear it up on a literal piece of Star Citizen history right here.
The crazy thing is that it's just a set of canyons, but I think what we did is what many people do. They just go out to a planet, find a nice section, and try to just fly through it and have fun. And obviously, we found a section near Riari McGrath, and we kept spinning laps. It turned into a track that everybody was running. We had scr.gg hosted on their website as well, so people flocked, I think like yourself as well, to set times on the leaderboard, and then CIG picked up.
That's right. Yeah, I remember when DJ first came up to us. It was about the middle of 2021, I believe. Maybe third quarter. It was like, hey, it's time we get racing back into gear here. And I was like, yo, is it actually happening? And ever since then, it's been just probably the greatest time to be a Star Citizen racer. And I think it just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
And this tournament over at Insomnia is no exception. Like, this is just, again, a dream come true. We've been waiting for stuff like this to start really starting to happen. And I think we're seeing the birthing moments of a new chapter in Star Citizen history happening right in front of us.
It's an emergence for sure. We're watching Fresh's onboard world record submission then. This is then in the live version of the game, the persistent universe. If he crashes out, he's got to get all the way back there to reset. And you'll notice
a trip I know all too well.
You'll notice the absence of holograms, no checkpoints here. We will have them for the racers today, which really helps clue in and make it even more spectacularly looking. But looking at this run by Fresh, I mean, you know how to go fast. What do you see?
Well, one thing a lot of people will notice, especially people who are new to the scene, that he is constantly on his side. And this is very different from the racing yesterday, where we were playing in simulated 0G courses. This course is in atmosphere, so his turning on his side and pulling up into the turns is the best way to get the most Gs into your turns. That's how you go fastest here on the Snake Pit. You really got to roll into it. Will we see that from the racers today? I have a feeling we're going to see a little mix of it, but honestly, it does add a new challenging layer to, people who are not real pilots, who might be wondering, well, why don't I just yaw through this turn? Well, you're going to find out pretty quick why you don't yaw into the turns, as strongly as you do in 0G.
I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. I think we're going to see a lot of pancaking. The canyons are, relatively shallow. It's very easy to either get really high and shoot over the checkpoints or go too low and hit the ground. And so being on your side and having to control that with your lateral thrusters can be very hard. The racers, though, are racing primarily in coupled. So coupled is going to help them there. And I think you're absolutely right, of course. The more you roll, the faster you can go. So I think if the racers today can embrace that strategy, they'll have a real one-up on anybody that pancakes their way through the track.
That's true. Not to mention, because of the aerodynamics of atmosphere, if you keep your TVI, that's that little butterfly, closer to your crosshair, you will go faster on the straights. And that could help or hurt people, but for the most part, if you're looking to make up ground, you got to make sure you have good control over where you're flowing through that air.
Absolutely. We've got some folks already practicing then. So for our race director, if you can just give us a cue, or a clue rather, as to when we can get the first match on the way. We'll give a quick look at the tournament overview then. Our first round today is going to be OneDarkEnigma versus Scotty. OneDarkEnigma, of course, Pete himself participating yesterday as well, and you'll see another comeback. We've got Fraggers who won yesterday.
Wait a minute.
What's up?
I wouldn't say he peed himself, but it is hard up there. He had the speed limiter off, nerves get to you, I have a feeling he's out for blood today. We're gonna see good things from him.
I said it's Pete himself.
Pete himself? I thought you said he peed. Okay, never mind.
No,
Moving on.
It's Pete. It's Pete. But yeah, I mean, he did pee himself a little. No, he did pee himself a little. Oh, that's great. So, yeah, I think, Luigi, race director, you're here with us. We can't hear you. Yeah, there you are.
Good morning, everybody.
How are you, Louis? Did you make it back in time today?
Yes, I did. It's very exciting. I want to have Scotty. Could you mind please reset to the starting line? Thank you. And actually, Pete is Mr. OneDarkEnigma on our Simpit number 1.
Yeah,
wonderful.
That's OneDarkEnigma right there. It's Pete himself. And
Thank you,
Scotty. Sorry, dude. Scotty on the second one, 07.
With
getting
the
ready.
aviators too, like we are serious over there. You don't want
like
the
it.
blinding sun of Cleo to get in your eyes on this track.
Cue the Top Gun soundtrack. So Luigi, quick question for you while we have you. When are you gonna come and join us for a session of commentation?
As long as I get a race director replacement, yeah, I'll be on.
You got Steve. Steve has been amazing.
Irreplaceable job.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He's still doing his formation. He's almost there, so I'll be there soon enough.
Without Luigi, there wouldn't be competitive racing because we'd all be saying, yeah, I crossed the lap. Yeah, I'm on lap 3 now. Yeah, I forgot what lap I'm on.
Yeah, the racers have a nickname for Luigi, and it is Papi or Daddy, if you feel so inclined, because he really keeps us in line. He keeps things rolling nice and smooth.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone.
So Luigi, race director, what's the ETA then? I think we're just about ready for our first race. Is that right?
Yes, we're about ready in about 60 seconds. Just have to do a quick audio check with our racers. OneDarkEnigma, Scotty, can you hear me? Thumbs up. All right, thank you. Just gonna play the quick sound. 1 sec. Could you both hear that? Thumbs up, please. All right. Okay. So, racers, we will be starting in 10 seconds. Commentators, be ready.
10 seconds then to the first race. This is gonna be so good. I'm really excited to see these guys make it back to the track. And finally, we're racing the snake pit. We've all wanted it to happen.
That's right. Head to head.
Yeah.
In the snake pit. Broadcast live on stage. This is something for the history books, folks. I hope you're excited, as I am.
I'm a little sad Osasha's couldn't be here today. This is our baby, of course, and it's happening. They're off,
and there they go.
Good first launch off the lap by both. I see a little bit of altitude from Scotty and a bit of out of control rolling, but OneDarkEnigma is making his way around Drifter's Paradise nicely.
That's right, Scotty getting things under control, starting off a little bit wild, but he's going to get back on track here as soon as he figures out his orientation, whereas Enigma clearly showing the practice moments he put in and pulling ahead pretty strongly here.
So I noticed yesterday, and I'm seeing it here then today at the Snake Pit as well, a lot of yawing for OneDarkEnigma. Even though he's starting to roll a little bit more now, heading through Nino's Alley and onto Emerald's Avenue. He's doing the sort of 45-degree roll, which it does induce a lot of aerodynamic instability, but he's making his way through the track.
I will say, if you're gonna do it in any ship, the Razor's the one to do it in. The Razor, with its 4 aerofoiling wings, does react a little better to 45-degree turns versus something like the P-72 or P-52. I know we're spinning out of control over with Scotty. I hope those aviators are helping get through all that red.
Yeah, he's making his way through, and I do agree that the Razor is probably one of the most forgiving race ships out there.
That's right. Very good control. Doesn't necessarily have the power that you'll get from the Kruger ships, but it does make up for it with extreme maneuverability.
I see OneDarkEnigma sort of stalling out there. It's obvious to me he's lost one of his wings. It's causing a lot of instability for him.
Give Scotty an opportunity to catch up if he can.
I was saying this yesterday, with Arena Commander, having respawns is amazing, and crashing can really help reset, get your ship back on track and back in a repaired order.
In fact, that appears to be the strategy Enigma just employed, going around last bite and starting lap number 2.
Yeah, 1 minute 31 then for his first lap, as Scotty is still making his way around. Struggling with gravity, you can tell he's sinking, his butt is sinking, and he's obviously pitching up to try and steer away from the ground.
That's right. And Enigma coming through the killer, the big one. Drifter's Paradise is definitely a brutal turn for the first turn of this track, and a famous one at that.
I was going to say, there is absolutely no better Drifter's turn anywhere. Yadar gets close.
No, it's good. I mean, it's, yeah, exactly. Yadar is close with his first turn, but Drifter's Paradise is legendary for being sort of a big, like, oh, this is atmospheric racing for a lot of racers coming for the first time. Like, aha, I got to figure this one out. That's basically your coming of age, you know, for atmospheric racing. If you,
it's relatively low gravity. I think it's 0.3 from memory.
That's right. Yep, 0.3 gravity and atmosphere on Clio compared to, you know, Earth.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it a nice, fast swooping track. So it's always really interesting if you actually get out of your ship and you stand in these canyons, how incredibly massive they are.
That's right. Yeah, you do get a sense of scale kind of being distorted when you're in the ships like this. All right, Enigma, missing a checkpoint. He's almost done with lap number 2.
Yeah, he went in reverse there. Yeah, I guess he flew over. I missed it, but he
missed the checkpoint early on. He's got to go back. He was just doing it from muscle memory.
Oh no, yeah, he's been running the track. He's got to go back even further. OneEnigma, you need to back up, buddy. You still got checkpoints behind you.
There, taking the smart move. Yep.
Yeah, he's all the way back at start finish, you see?
Oh no!
So
Yeah, he missed a
comparing-
checkpoint at Drifter's Paradise.
I think that actually puts Scotty then in the lead, not having missed any checkpoints, because he's already down at Emerald Avenue.
Yeah, he's just getting through Nino's Alley. OneDarkEnigma can certainly still catch up. He's just got to hold it together.
So
And there
OneDarkEnigma
he goes through
races
the
dual stick at home, I believe. Scotty, I don't know. But it is beautiful to see. We were talking about this yesterday. Can you imagine if this is your first experience with Star Citizen on these sticks, these rigs by Next Level Racing? It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I was a mouse and keyboard racer to start in Star Citizen myself, and then switching the sticks for me was just as eye-opening. And Scotty crosses the finish line just ahead of Enigma.
I
to
gotta
take
say,
first
dude,
place.
I gotta say, I'm a little surprised. Good racing by Scotty. Congratulations for a beautiful win. I can only imagine OneDarkEnigma's disappointment with this one.
He
I
was
mean,
so close, and you hate to see it, honestly. You hate to see it.
Thank you,
So-
racers.
I wonder what checkpoint he missed, because I mean that's what happened. That's what caused
It
him
looked
to
like
lose
Drifter's
this one.
Paradise.
Right.
We were just talking about the difficulty and technicality of that first turn in the snake pit, and again, Drifter's Paradise has claimed another victim today with OneDarkEnigma. But I tell you what, you know, it's you got to watch out for it. It does take a little bit of practice, and my recommendation for these racers today is take it easy, take it slow. You know, definitely catch your bearings. I know it is very hard with the pressure of being on stage, but that's going to be the winner today.
I'm shocked. I'm delighted to see Fraggers then go up to Scotty for round 5 today. First, for our second round, we've got Miyuki versus ElderLupus, and we've got a whole bunch of racing still to come.
Got some newcomers. It's going to be fun.
So we had an interesting withdrawal from Scotty due to some motion sickness. I mean, you were just mentioning it, Splen. It happens. You've experienced the same, you said. And so OneDarkEnigma is going to go ahead. Yeah, tell us about it.
Well, I mean, the first time I got vertigo from playing Star Citizen, you know, I do use head tracking myself. And if anyone is playing games and used to moving their head around, or maybe there were pilots in real life who are used to wanting that experience when you move your head and not seeing it, that's really what happens. It's that disconnect between the motion center of your brain and what's happening on screen that can actually cause some serious motion sickness. It's most common in VR, but it does happen, especially when they're in a dark room like that and the only thing in front of them is the screen. It's easy to accidentally trick your brain into thinking this is real. And when it happens, it could be devastating for your sense of motion.
Yes,
Yeah,
we just got in that. Is this Scotty's first time in the flight simulator? He's usually a FPS player, Call of Duty and stuff. So
yeah,
That's
it's
so
unfortunate,
cool.
but it does happen.
You gotta get, people say you have to get your VR legs, and I guess the same is true for any sort of sim racing, whether it's cars or flight with all the rolling and sick stuff. I personally
and
don't.
sometimes it's just, it could just be a perfect storm, right? Like we said, he's in a dark room. It's probably a really big screen, and those factors can easily add up quickly to make your brain think you're really in this ship and there's no motion happening, so I'm gonna get you sick.
All right,
exactly.
Races are gonna be ready. We're good to go.
When we talk about VR racing as well, when I did it for the first time, it's like, wow, this is so real. This is happening, and it confused the heck out of my brain. But as you continue on doing it, at some point there's this moment, this trigger, you get past it and you can just handle it, and it just gets so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, but like Luigi said, it was his first time, so.
Absolutely.
All right, we've got new racers today. This is wonderful.
Yeah, we're still waiting then for, it looks like Miyuki is not yet ready. It says waiting for one player. They're probably in a multiplayer lobby.
Yep, we got to get to offline mode there.
So we need someone to support her. For our round 2 then, we do have Miyuki in the left
Please stand by.
sim pit with the Verpals, and ElderLupus in the right one. And we were just talking about his plan. We've got some Verpals set up, of course. You're a Verpal racer. I'm a Verpal racer. I think we're both then on the let's call them the old primes. We're on the old alphas, not the primes. Considering an upgrade?
I mean, the primes, I've heard great things about them. If you prefer a metal frame to a plastic frame, that's the real difference between the two, right? If you want that weightier feel, get a little more throw in your sticks, go for the primes. It is, you're able to do that. It looks like
All right, Racers.
well, wait, it looks like Pete came over and didn't. Wait, there we go. Okay, don't move. Don't move.
Don't move, Miyuki.
Back up. Pull back on the stick.
That's it. All right.
There we go. Stop. Okay.
Let's get that
here
countdown.
for the start.
Let's get that countdown going, race director. We're ready.
Yes.
And the races are off. We'll see how the launch goes. Miyuki then twisting a little bit out of control on the start, and ElderLupus getting a really nice launch.
That's all right. She'll get back on the track here, taking the smart route and just trying to blow up the ship as fast as possible. It's what I would be doing in this situation too. But ElderLupus taking a spill at the beginning as well, so getting reset back to the first checkpoint and finally going into Drifter's Paradise.
I honestly couldn't think of a better way to get introduced to racing than trying it out here on stage on the Snake Pit. What a bunch of pressure to put on someone's shoulders.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, this is not an easy game. First of all, there is a bit of a skill gap, as we've talked about yesterday. But I mean, this would really make you feel like you're in it, right? One hand on the throttle, one hand on the rotation stick, and you're just like, whoa, I really got to get used to this.
Yeah, absolutely agree. ElderLupus
seems to be finding his own.
Yeah, you know what I've noticed a lot? I want to get your thoughts on this. You're definitely seeing people struggling with verts. There's a lot of rolling to do the airplane thing, to kind of just get, the G's flowing and pitch up. How do you feel like coupled or decoupled makes a better trainer in that regard?
This is a loaded question. I could tell by your voice. But I personally cut my teeth on coupled mode. When I was first racing, and for a long time, really, I didn't get good at decoupled until probably 2020, maybe 2021. So there were years where I played in coupled, and it was fine. But as and as most of the pro racers know, it does take decoupled in order to unlock the full potential of your ship. So it might be better off just starting off that way. You know, maybe I'm sure there is some teaching of that in the XGR schools, but coupled is fine if you're just playing more or less casually.
See, I do agree with you. Of course, it is, you know, from the casual aspect, it's just so much easier to lean on the auto stoppage of coupled mode. But I struggle with coupled mode in Star Citizen because of the way the throttle behaves, where it's like all or nothing. You get these big jerks in power.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. You know, having the finer touch controls of decoupled mode is, you know, better for, like you said, fine controls, because coupled will try to stop you no matter what. It'll try to get you on the track. So, you know, there is some pros and cons to both, for sure.
Kudos to Miyuki then. I noticed as they're making their way around Emerald Avenue, they're just kind of slowing down their pace to try and get smoothly on course and get used and familiar with the ship. I mean, we got to remember, I believe this is their first time then flying one of the spaceships, and they're probably getting further than some.
Yeah, and Miyuki, if you could hear us, don't get discouraged. Keep fighting the good fight. This is a hard game, so you're doing all right. ElderLupus, definitely, you know, obviously having the lead here, maybe putting in a couple more minutes of practice, but that's all it takes, honestly, when it comes to, you know, learning how to fly dual sticks for the first time.
Maybe it should be his 4 laps versus her 2, you know, the handicap.
Nah. He is in the zone, though. Look at him. Moving his head, you know, he feels like he's in it. I think like Miyuki's got the look on her face like she's starting to feel it. She's starting to believe here. We're getting the hang of this. Slowly but surely, those synapses are firing. We're making those pathways in the brain. We're getting the muscle memory down. Slowly but surely, it is a wonderful thing to watch.
I remember when I first got my sticks, I struggled hard to find the right bindings, which axes to bind to what thrusters, and it, like you mentioned, it takes time for the brain to really get comfortable.
Yeah, it's like having a new pair of limbs. Honestly, it's like learning how to walk again. And it is, once you get it, and you know, once you get to the level like where myself or Shaq New or Boltalk is, where it feels like just a new extension of your body, it is truly a wonderful thing.
Yeah, they say it's proven, isn't it, that when you use tools, at some point your brain considers them an extension of your body.
That is true. It's very true. I mean, nowadays it feels very natural for me.
So both racers still on lap 1. We've got ElderLupus just flying over the start-finish and missing the start-finish line. So I believe...
Yeah, I think what's being experienced here might be a bug. My advice to the racers is look for that little 0 over on the corner of your screen and fly toward it. Get through that checkpoint that the game is marking for you.
Yeah, that's right. You can see a floating marker that's pointing away to the edges of the screen. That's where you need to go. At this point, I think we've got some racers that are frantically chasing the amber glowing checkpoints.
That's all right. Hey, they're there for a reason. And, you know, again, it's okay to take your time and get oriented here. You know, it is definitely difficult. This race is not easy.
So talking about head tracking, you mentioned you use head tracking. Personally, I find it really, really hard to use head tracking as much as I love VR, because head tracking is requires that you kind of like turn your head and then look back to the screen.
Yes, that's right.
But it does hold me back, right? Because I watch yourself, I watch Shaq New, the absolute pros at Zero G Racing. You guys are just flying in reverse, looking over your shoulder. It really does, you know, it's part of the key to success, I think.
That's right, yeah. I wouldn't say it's necessary for success, but it is just one more tool at your disposal, right? That's just one more axis you could use to succeed. And like you said, it is a little unnatural compared to VR, but you know, VR in itself is an extreme step, whereas head tracking and something like the Tobii eye tracker is a bit of a go-between. And ElderLupus getting back on track, able to go through the start-finish line. And it looks like Miyuki has a lap here,
yeah,
not being able to find that checkpoint for ElderLupus actually put Miyuki ahead at the moment.
It happened. I was watching Miyuki just a moment ago while we were talking about head tracking. They flew just over the finish and then went back, slowly dipping down and ducking into the pit. They're already now past Drifter's Paradise, and they are definitely in a clear lead. Lupus then only just approaching now Drifter's Paradise.
Interesting. So suddenly, these racers are head to head. It is anybody's game at this point. Let's see what happens.
What we see here is a case of no practice for either racers and them getting acclimatized to racing these things sort of at the same time, at the same pace. And I want to give some amazing credit to Miyuki because they are just very, very gently making their way through now. And they look incredibly stable.
That's right. Yeah, like I said, and like we've been talking about sometimes, and Fraggers proved this yesterday, slow and steady wins the race. Get your bearings, know where you're going. Don't worry about being fast all the time because your opponent might outdo themselves.
Looks like we've got some folk in the audience and saying Miyuki did end up missing another checkpoint. Shout out to Data Machine for tuning in. We just saw a crash though, so it helps that you get reset and you get put in place to find the checkpoint. So again, look at those borders. There's that big circle with a 0 in it. That's what you're pointing for. For Miyuki, that's to
right.
the
Yeah,
right.
Ignore the big amber circle and just go for the little 0 up at the top right of your screen there, pointing toward your next checkpoint. I think this is going to give ElderLupus the opportunity he needs to push ahead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Phase of concentration, and he's definitely seeming more stable now as well, and a little bit more aggressive and fast.
And here he comes up on close contact, making that tight turn now, getting into that loop. He's got the final half of the map ready to go here. He has to go through turn and burn, finally through last bite and on to the start finish. He's using those rolls pretty well.
One of my favorite things about sixth-off racing, having all those directions of freedom, right? You end up in cases, and this happens on your designed track as well, the Beijing Blitz, where if you are too aggressive on your verticals, you've got more momentum to cancel out. And at a planetary track with a floor, that can become really hard. If you end up high and you have to go down, you've got to cancel all that momentum before you hit the ground.
That's right. Yeah, it's another one of the skill sets you have to kind of learn in this game, and understanding that, hey, you know, you have thrusters on all sides of your ship. Knowing how to use them and knowing how to both speed up and slow down is essential, especially to zero-G flight, but also in atmospheric flight. And low atmosphere like Snake Pit is pretty similar to zero-G in a lot of ways, including the one you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. Why are they spinning, says Simi. I think it's a natural occurrence when we talk about, again, flying like an airplane, where you feel like you have to do most of the work with pitching. It's the feet, right? They're yawing with their pedals. And if you're not too comfortable and you're trying to make sure that you use the pitch, basically by rolling, the same thing happens with combat. You can roll your ship so that you can pitch back into the right direction. I think that's what we're seeing here, flying like an airplane.
That's right. And Miyuki able to get some ground here, again, just going slow and steady, not crashing, not getting reset in strange ways. The game is not being nice with the resets here.
But I think we've got...
they are getting closer and closer.
I just watched Elder go across the start-finish line, though. Did that put them on lap 2?
Because he missed it. He missed a checkpoint, but...
No, he won.
Okay,
He's got it. Yeah, he's absolutely got it. We've got ElderLupus then in the lead and winning. Congratulations to him. It was a long sit, but we've got Miyuki very, very close behind, and also just about to wrap up the race. But that's a beautiful race.
Congratulations, racers.
Yeah, congratulations to both. That was wonderful.
I know this is a tall ask, especially for people new to the game, so it is wonderful to see these racers push through, persevere, and get through the finish line.
Give yourselves a pat on the shoulder, a cheer, and thank you so much for racing, and congratulations to ElderLupus for taking away the win. I gotta say, Miyuki, you held your own. That was a really tight match.
Very good, racers. Welcome to Star Citizen Racing, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of you guys later.
So let's have a look at the tournament scores then. We've got, for our third match of the day, Strikzi versus Zero Alpha. I think we may have had a a default
Yes,
there.
we may have a default because we had some people not being able to show it up. So next race will be Fraggers Henry and OneDarkEnigma.
All right, that's awesome. Let's take for the next race as well. Let's try and perhaps ignore the checkpoints a little bit in case that they are bugging out. We can of course observe whether our racers are going through the checkpoints and making their way around the track. And let's just focus on the yellow, I would suggest. So let's see, what is our fifth race then? We've got Fraggers versus OneDarkEnigma. OneDarkEnigma, of course, getting awarded a win, essentially. It's gonna be a close match between them two. Splen, your money on?
Well, let's get those names changed at the top of the screen, but it is, I mean, this is basically a rematch of one of the more exciting races from yesterday. We've got Fraggers, who took it all, and then we've got OneDarkEnigma, aka Pete, coming in to redeem himself here, basically. And, you know, he does show off a lot of the skills of an experienced racer. So it's exciting to see.
We will be starting in 10 seconds. Fraggers, thumbs up if you're ready.
Dude, my money is on Fraggers.
Pete,
OneDarkEnigma he's been awarded a win. This could be his comeback though. Like if he feels warmed up a little bit now, anything's possible. But seeing Fraggers win the tournament yesterday, I mean, I got expectations.
All right, let's see it.
And they're off. OneDarkEnigma again with a very fast jump off the line.
But Fraggers showing he's no slouch.
Wow, OneDarkEnigma going way too fast, ending up in the buildings at Drifters, having to reset then.
That is, man, has that not happened a million times to everyone familiar with the snake pit? Drifters get you. You know, you have to have good speed control to be able to take that. And Fraggers is showing, you know, that sometimes, again, speed control wins.
Okay, so OneDarkEnigma now slowing it down just a little bit through Nino's Alley and Emerald's Avenue as Fraggers is making their way there too.
Yep, Fraggers just now coming through Nino's, so he does have some catching up to do. But as we know, anything can happen here. Stick to your guns, you know, take this at your own pace. Better off not crashing right now with the way that the checkpoints are handling, folks. If you want to keep your orientation, it's better to not crash at all. Keep that in mind.
Again, I'm seeing both racers then doing a lot of leaning on yaw, about a 40-degree roll either side, and doing a lot of yawing then.
But again, if you're going to do it, the Razor's a ship to do it in, and the Snake Pit's the place to do it. With the lower atmosphere, you do have some zero-G qualities here. So as you can see, the Razor's able to take those 45-degree turns rather well.
Yeah, and there's OneDarkEnigma across the finish onto lap 2. And I think, like you mentioned with the yawing, it is true. Doing it at the Snake Pit is the track to do it because it helps you lean on the verts to not crash into the ground instead of the laterals.
That's right. Fraggers just coming in close behind here, finishing up the lap number 1.
OneDarkEnigma spinning out of control, getting a bunch of red out. I don't think he misses any parts, so he's still going, keeping it together.
Luigi, you can mark Fraggers as lap 2. He's in Drifter's Paradise now. Yeah, OneDarkEnigma clearly pulling ahead going through Nino's Alley, but Fraggers not too far behind, only about 2 checkpoints behind. If he can keep it together, he has a chance here.
I think at this point, OneDarkEnigma is thinking, I got to show these dudes I got this.
He's doing it. There's a beautiful, almost 70-degree turn coming through close contact, one of the more technical turns of this race.
Yeah, and it used to be so much flatter before we got these checkpoints, right? You remember when we had all those height limits with the canyon markers.
That's right. Yeah, it was a more dangerous track back in those days in some ways, but with the advent of the adoption by CIG, we do have a lot more obstacles now, so it is difficult in different ways.
It is one of my favorite parts about the track, but there's OneDarkEnigma.
Enigma takes the win, redeeming himself for the victory here in tournament number 2.
1 minute and 17 for his fastest lap in that race, so that's really nice to see. And for the first time in 2 days, we see Fraggers then eliminated out of the tournament.
Congratulations to both racers. Of course, these are 2 of the hardest hitters in the tournament so far. Looking forward to see more from them in the future.
Yes, and next we will have Foggy-San and ElderLupus.
And Foggy coming back from day number 1.
Verpil Controls presents a new way to conquer the universe. No matter how you fly, as a solo pilot or in a squad, a beginner or a fighter race, it's time to update your cockpit. Complete flight immersion. All maneuvers are natural and intuitive. All ship controls right at your fingertips. Effortless and precise control input. No longer will you be lost amongst the infinite expanse of the universe. You are now the conqueror of the cosmos. Exploration, racing, dogfighting. The advantage will always be on your side. After experiencing the taste of victory, you will never want to fly any other way again. Meet the new Alpha Grip from Verpil Controls. Verpil Controls, created just for you.
For our sixth match today, we've got Foggy-San in the left stick and ElderLupus on the right. This is gonna be a really exciting one. Foggy, of course, having practiced quite a bunch. And ElderLupus putting on a nice aggressive emotion performance in his previous race.
And that's right, crowd. If it wasn't obvious, these guys can hear our commentary. So a lot of times in professional racing, you won't hear your commentators, but these guys have the distinct pleasure, or perhaps mispleasure, of hearing our voices in their ears while they're going, adding even more pressure to what's already a very difficult race. And I'd like to point out here, as Luigi told us during the break, that Insomnia is going to move what's happening here off the main stage to a COD tournament, I believe. But we're going to continue streaming the rest of the tournament here on XGR Racing. So without further ado, let's and I believe Foggy was one of the racers yesterday, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, coming back to redeem himself. I believe he was unfortunately knocked out in round 1. We'll see what happens here in round 2 today.
All right, racers, 10 seconds. Get ready for the beat.
And they're off. Nice launch from both racers. ElderLupus with a bit of rolling. Foggy-San taking a nice, gentle yawing motion through the first checkpoint.
Yep, both approaches are valid here. ElderLupus, having had about 5 minutes of practice from the race against Miyuki, now getting a little bit of this. You can see some of that experience showing now, taking it a little bit slower, trying not to crash in order to keep the orientation correct, avoiding checkpoint bugs. That's the way to do it.
Absolutely. Slow but steady wins the race here. When you're going up against opponents of similar pace, just try and get yourself a little bit slower, a little bit steadier. Just get that risk of crashing out so you can save some time on hopefully a crash of your opponent while you keep going.
That's right. And that said, Foggy-San finishing up Nino's Alley, going through Emerald Avenue and coming around to close contact now, getting those three, some of the three, I would say the most gentle straight in this track, Emerald Avenue, and now getting into the dangerous parts, coming around close contact, closing in on turn and burn. Here we go with the big 180 turn. Ooh, rolling into it hard and straightening out. Foggy showing some experience from playing yesterday and also obviously some time in practice. It's really paying off here.
Yeah, absolutely. ElderLupus being gapped quite a little bit. Then we see him just making his way now through Emerald Avenue, making that right turn, and doing a good job, at least keeping it away from the ground.
Foggy, meanwhile, coming through Turn and Burn on lap 2. I'm sorry, not Turn and Burn. This is Drifter's Paradise, the killer itself. This is a big, probably a 270-degree turn all in all, and just clipping the geometry, but staying alive. He's got to hold it together here, heading over into the pinch. Ooh, getting his orientation back. Foggy-San finding the checkpoint. Remember, you want to head toward that blue circle if you can on the edge of your HUD. That's where you want to go. Get back on track here and follow those arrows to keep it going.
This is exactly what I meant with getting up, sent into the air, and then having to make your way back down and avoiding hitting the ground. And that's exactly what's happening to Foggy here as he's drifting and sliding and scraping his way through Drifter's Paradise.
That's right, and ElderLupus just coming across the lap for lap number 2. Meanwhile, Foggy is missing some parts of his ship now, so he's going to have a lot of trouble holding it together here. The ship's going to want to do things that he's not making it do, so he has to hold it together in order to keep this ship and pass. But he's coming through Nino's Alley now, going into Emerald Avenue, more than halfway done with the lap. He could take this home.
The thing about missing some of your wings as well, the problem gets the ship gets more unstable the faster you go. So at some points, it can help just to slow down just a little bit so you can keep the ship steady and on the track.
Yeah, and it looks like that's exactly what Foggy's doing. And this is a method I've employed sometimes in these situations. Is sometimes you have to just feel the ship. If it doesn't like rolling, stop rolling. You might have to yaw. Survival is key.
So let's see where we have our racers on the track then. We've still got Foggy-San with a clear lead over ElderLupus, but ElderLupus keeping it, I was going to say nice and stable, but there he's drifting out a little bit again. And yeah, you can see now with that missing wing, I think he's struggling to keep his ship from rolling out of control.
But Foggy has it, finishing up lap 2 and coming away with the victory in day number 2.
That's a beautiful time then from Foggy. Congratulations on winning. He'll be going up against Raiq in the next race. That's going to be a very tight semifinal and a very tight final race, I think, today. Congratulations to both
congratulations,
racers.
ElderLupus, for holding it together. You did good. Not bad for your probably second, maybe third time on the tracks. Wonderful job by both racers, and we'll see you guys later.
See, I had my money on Foggy. I knew it.
Foggy coming back with a vengeance today.
I would like to announce again that the winner of this race will get a Mustang, and also the second place will get Aurora. And do not forget, we also have audience prizes today.
That's right. We
Wonderful.
can take a quick look at that, actually. We were able to give away a very, very nice Aurora yesterday. We're giving away on the stream 1 ship per day for a lucky audience member. Today, that's going to be the Pisces C8X, the exploration version of the Pisces. One of my first ships. Really enjoyed it. Still got one. I'll always have one. And just after the upcoming race, we will be giving one away. So what's very important is for you to cheer for your favorite racer in chat. Be sure to be loud and tell everybody who you are rooting for, and stand a chance at winning your very own C8X Pisces as well.
Wonderful. Look at those beautiful isometric ships. Some of the best ones in the game, especially for starters. And the Pisces, probably the best shuttle, classified as a snub fighter, but we all know the truth. That's your daily driver, right?
Oh yeah, dude. Go everywhere in my C8X Pisces. It's whenever you need to go anywhere, it's like, I'll just grab my Pisces.
That's right. It gets the job done. Quick claim timer too. Nice and cheap.
One day that'll all change though, right? When we're not claiming ships left and right.
Shh. Yeah, we don't want to talk about that, okay? We don't we don't want to talk about perma loss or anything like that, all right?
Not yet anyway. So yeah,
Not
keep on
yet.
cheering. Again, here's a look at the tournament standings at the moment. Our next match is going to be OneDarkEnigma versus Strikzi. This will be a first appearance for Strikzi. We see both racers getting ready in the pit.
All right, deep breaths, guys. Come on. It's going to be all right. Looks like we're all lined up. OneDarkEnigma making a few last-minute adjustments here.
All right, racers. Race going to start in 10 seconds, right at the beep. Thank you.
We all know how important the start is too. It's all about getting your nose pointing in the right direction, so you only ever have to think about thrusting forward and not making any quick vector adjustments so quick off the line.
Yep, and that's just something that comes with experience.
Absolutely. Let's see how these guys do then. Coming off the line, both very stable. OneDarkEnigma, very fast off the line, quick roll to the right and drifting his way through Drifter's Paradise. And would you look at that 90-degree turn for him?
And Strikzi is showing either some really good instincts or a little bit of practice rolling into the first turn and getting through that first checkpoint nicely. Unfortunately, hitting the crane coming into checkpoint number 2.
Yeah, it's hard, man. When you're not yet fully comfortable leaning on all the thrusters and having to do all that correction using your pitch, roll, and yaw, it's rough. That's the beautiful thing about 6-off racing, though, being able to make those adjustments without having to look at where you're going.
That's right. And Black Maze, using the abbreviation for 6 degrees of freedom. And for the layperson, we're talking about moving in any of the 6 directions, up, down, left, right, and of course rolling with the 2 sticks and the yaw pedals that they are using. And Enigma coming over into lap number 2. Looks like starting off going into Drifter's Paradise now. Clear lead over Strikzi, but not to be unexpected here with the experience that OneDarkEnigma now has with the practice here. He's looking to take it all today. Come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, you can definitely tell he's warmed up. There's so much really intuitive rolling going on, and you can just see with those 90-degree rolls how much more stable that Razor is going through the turns.
Naturally, yeah. But Strikzi, no slouch, definitely showing some some very good instinct or a little bit of practice we didn't know about.
Oh, there again.
And holding it together.
Yeah, for sure. There again, that rolling and coming down from too high to dip through the checkpoints and inevitably hitting the ground, as the same happens to OneDarkEnigma.
That's right, yeah. I mean, you have to be aware of the limits of your ship and how fast you're taking these turns, but he's holding it together, coming around, finishing up lap 2, going through the bite. Ooh, hitting the geometry, but
there he is.
We're going to make it. Finishing up lap number 2, OneDarkEnigma taking round number 3. First race of round number 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And then kudos to Strikzi for holding his own against probably one of the fastest guys today.
Yeah, very good. And you know what is curious watching these guys is that, you'll see them racing and notice their head tilting when they're racing. And, it's a natural reaction the human body has to seeing your horizon line tilt on the screen. Very curious, if they were using something like a head tracker or a headset, their heads would move with it and it might feel a little more natural.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite parts then about Star Citizen is the, what is it called again? Look at mode, right? Where it does a little bit of rolling for you.
Look ahead mode. Look ahead mode, yes. These are something you could...
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
You can set this up in your game settings, and basically you have a pretty robust slew of controls to automatically make your pilot's head turn where you want it to. It could be disorienting or it could be okay. And some people get some good use out of it. I used to before I used head tracking myself. But sometimes it might be better just to, take the plunge and use some of the built-in head tracking.
Yeah, I personally don't use it because, I use it when I film because it looks beautiful, but I don't end up using it when I'm racing competitively because I like my camera to be as stuck to my cockpit as possible. Let's hit some more commercials while we set up for the 8th round of the day, our final semi-final race. After we come back, we'll be giving away our own Pisces, so stay tuned. welcome back. And like we mentioned after the break, we're going to give away a C8X Pisces. We're going to make someone very happy. A congratulations for CyberFox. Congratulations. We picked your name from the hat, and you are flying away today with your very own C8X Pisces. And that's Splen, of course, on Twitch. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Look forward to it. Yeah, that's really good. And they're going up against Foggy, of course, in the left seat. It's gonna be a tight match then, I think.
It versus a seasoned Star Citizen player who's not necessarily a racer. This should be a good one.
All right, racers, 10 seconds to race start.
There we go.
There they go. And obviously Foggy showing a little bit of experience with this track, leaning into those turns, but Raiq, the Star Citizen veteran, having a little bit of trouble on turn 1, but keeping alive. Just has to keep going on to checkpoint number 2. Get reoriented here and get back on the track.
A lot of uncontrollable drifting, it looks like.
Yeah, this is something this track is famous for. Not a lot of atmosphere to slow you down, so you still have to keep your vectors under control. Foggy coming around the pinch, moving down toward Nino's alley, in one of the most difficult turns in this track. A lot of times I'll find myself actually, instead of pitch up into this turn, I will be down turning into Nino's alley in order to offset G-forces because it's that fast.
Today we're running Star Citizen. This is the first time I think that we're making our way to a convention like this or a game festival. It's really cool to see then that we get a chance to have racers go head-to-head in the Arena Commander mode with all the amazing holograms. So if this is your first time watching and you like what you're seeing, Star Citizen is the game to pick up.
Welcome. And Foggy showing that track knowledge does in fact pay off, getting a clear lead here, going around close contact, heading down toward the bite on lap number 1.
Yeah,
meanwhile,
really
Raiq coming around Nino's alley into Emerald Avenue, holding it together. Coming up. Now, just because somebody's a Star Citizen veteran doesn't mean that they're necessarily a dual sticks veteran. Keep that in mind. Might be a mouse keyboard player, so this could just feel like a brand new experience. Other than knowing the game mechanics, coming in with an unfamiliar control setup can be very, very difficult.
I couldn't do it. If someone told me to, yaw on X or something crazy like that, I don't think I could do it. My brain would fry instantly.
That's right, so it does level the playing field a bit for these racers, regardless of experience level.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, Foggy coming around the pinch, going into that hard turn and heading down toward I almost said Neon Avenue. Coming down toward Nino's Avenue for lap number 2.
I like it, Neon Avenue, with all those holograms out there now. It works.
Kind of feels like it, doesn't it? Especially at night. Rabbing up into Emerald Avenue. And again, like you've kind of pointed out, Foggy using 45-degree turns, which does, it's less risky if not quite as hard on the G-forces and speed, but he is using that to his advantage, slowing down the ship and keeping things steady here.
It's definitely all about the speed, right? These guys are running speed limiters. They're doing about 180 to 200 meters per second, I think, at the top. If they hit that limiter, let's say at 190 meters per second there for Foggy, as he makes his way through the final turn. And, with those speeds, the ships, they do forgive a lot of strange behaviors and attitudes. There goes Foggy then across the line. Total time of 3 minutes and 5 seconds. And winning round 8 and making his way to the finals against OneDarkEnigma. Good racing, Foggy.
And also, big congratulations to Raiq coming in. I'm sure this was, unfamiliar control setup, unfamiliar area, but you did good regardless.
Absolutely agree. We were saying this yesterday. It's quite a lot of pressure just, sitting down in one of these pits and showing the world how you race. I think we have a lot of racers in our community who are seeing these races live for the first time with, something as significant as a face cam. And I think there's a lot of people who wish they were here today, able to put on a good show for everybody. Yourself included, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's.
Yeah. What did you actually? You know what? I'll put you on the spot. What did you say to me the other day? Like, damn it! I wish I could be there. I wish I could be in the UK right now.
Yeah, and that would be. I wouldn't want to be here, honestly. Looking at it now, because it's wonderful. I mean, I'd want to be there. Don't get me wrong, but I shouldn't be racing. Seeing these racers, a lot of these, a little new to the scene and experiencing Star Citizen for the first time, I wouldn't want to be there to upset any of this, because it is a beautiful thing to watch, and seeing this sort of skill level all playing together it feels right. It's the way it should be.
I just want to take a moment. Cyberfox went, "Oh, hey, Splen, oh my God, sorry, I was AFK for a moment." So I think
Cyberfox, welcome back. Yeah, and congratulations on winning your own C8 Pisces. So again, just send me a DM, and it looks like you did. I'm going to coordinate with you after the show here, and we'll get you all set up.
That was great. I was thinking that's not very exciting. He was not very excited. Right. I guess he wasn't here. That's good. Yeah, congratulations, right, dude. Yeah. We picked your name from the hat, and you won yourself the Pisces, like Splen mentioned. Congratulations. That's too good.
All right, so we are looking at the finals. Am I
reading
that correctly? So we're going to have Foggy against
OneDarkEnigma. Yeah, this is going to be a really tight one.
This is going to be really good.
They already raced each other, of course, in round 2. It was the 5th match we showed today. No,
that was Fraggers.
Oh, shoot. No, of course, that's not even possible. What am I saying? Yeah, that's Fraggers. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be interesting. So Foggy, very stable, taking it nice and gentle to make sure he doesn't crash us out. Enigma, very fast, good rolling behaviors as well, but more prone to crash out. That's my analysis.
Yeah, I mean, this could be anyone's game at this point, because obviously Enigma does have a little more time on the track, a little more time with this control setup, definitely has the speed, but Foggy showing some extreme control and obviously, looks good under pressure, keeping it really under wraps and is making a good show out of it.
The interesting thing today, let's have a look here. OneDarkEnigma has flown in both simpits today. He flew left and right and left and now left again. For Foggy, he was, he was left pit, and now he's right pit. So this is the first time he's sitting in this rig. And I do wonder how much it affects your controls, if anything is different.
Well, yeah, at the very least, looks like the FOV is different between the two. So I'm guessing there's slightly different screen sizes, but not only that, it looks like the left stick on the right screen rig has the 45-degree angle modifier to it to make it more like a throttle. So, I mean, that's different hand positions, slightly different muscle memory. So it is going to have an effect, however subtle it is. So we'll see how that affects Foggy.
They both do.
Yes. They both have the... Oh, they both? Okay, it's hard to tell on the
yeah,
the
they're both angled grips. For those unfamiliar, Splen just mentioned it. So for the left stick, there are angled grips installed. That means it holds more like a throttle. You can see it on Foggy there, holding the left stick. And it still does the same motion. So you can still go left, right, forwards, backwards, and twist and all that. It just makes it a little bit more ergonomic if you're doing something other than using it for pitch roll, yaw, and I think I got him.
Yeah, I mean, depending on your setup, it could just be more ergonomic in general. Okay, go ahead, take it away, Luigi.
Yes, I would like to also point out that Foggy is number 1 in F1 community races. So
okay,
that's awesome.
So
Congratulations.
An experienced racer racing. So no wonder we're seeing such wonderful results from this. Yeah, excited to see these guys go head to head.
That is
all
awesome.
Right, racers, 10 seconds.
I was going to say that having 2D flat car racing experience, it does help. Inside turn, outside turn, all of that. So the final round today, OneDarkEnigma versus Foggy-San. Here we go. We're off. We've got good launches by both racers. Very nice straight line from Enigma. Foggy-San a little bit out of control. Can he pitch down? There he goes. He's through.
They both managed to keep it under control going into checkpoint number 2 and now finally into Drifter's Paradise for both these racers. The true test. And both coming through relatively unscathed. No parts missing yet. Enigma making his way to the pinch, a clear gap over Foggy, but not big enough to be safe yet.
Yeah, he's definitely sprinting away from him through Nino's Alley, now onto Emerald Avenue. He's in control, and the best thing I'm seeing with these 90-degree rolls from him today is there is a lot of stability when it comes to the vertical plane. He's not going up and down like crazy, which makes it, you know, a straight shot through.
That's right, and a lot of that too is just control experience and a little bit of practice, you know? Keeping your wrist steady, watching that TVI, and doing true 90s into your rolls and pulling up. You know, sometimes you gotta yaw, sometimes you gotta adjust your roll, so it's a lot of factors coming into play at once. But Foggy-San getting into past close contact, heading over to turn and burn, not too far behind, but Enigma taking lap number 1.
Yeah, he's onto his second lap through Drifter's Paradise again, keeping it nice and tight, a little wide on exit. But, oh, and now I think he's going to hit the wall there. Yeah, he does. He was too fast.
Oh, he's out of control. This is Foggy's chance to catch up. Foggy coming over through lap number 1. So not too far behind at this point. Does have an opportunity to catch up here, but has to keep it together. Maybe push it a little bit.
I just want to add, I saw that, yeah, OneDarkEnigma being reset quite a ways back then, which actually puts Foggy in the lead right now as they're both making their way through Drifters.
Yep, so they're about neck and neck now, coming through Drifter's Paradise, heading toward the pinch. OneDarkEnigma making that 90-degree turn and heading down toward Nino's Alley. He is fast.
Almost drifting out of the turn. I think he's going to do it again. There he goes, hitting the ground through Nino's Alley, spinning out, not blowing up. He's going to have to force a reset if his ship is damaged. I think he's going to...
in the meantime... holding it together, but also spinning out of control. Get turned around. All he has to do is get back toward that checkpoint, and he's good to go.
Yeah,
there he
like
goes.
he's
Foggy
back at start finish.
Back on the track, but I think Foggy might be missing a wing here. He is struggling.
Yeah, he was reset quite a ways back as well then, just like OneDarkEnigma, because of the checkpoints and how they function. So now it's up to OneDarkEnigma to just stay cool. He's got one more turn to go, and then he's there to take the win today, and he does across the finish. Congratulations to OneDarkEnigma. You showed us who is boss. Congratulations
to both racers. Foggy certainly showing up today, showing that racing experience, no matter the game, does come in handy when it comes to racing, no surprise. You know, and this is a very difficult track. These racers losing parts, blowing off their ship, holding it together, and getting the job done today. Wonderful showing. Thanks again, guys. Congratulations. Yeah, this was a stellar performance by OneDarkEnigma. He really did warm up there towards the end. It's good to see, and it does really just show you practice makes perfect. That's right. Practice, track knowledge, and a little bit of racing knowledge certainly helps, but you know, big props to everybody racing today, because again, we can't stress this enough. This is harder than it looks. I mean, it looks hard enough, but like coming into an unfamiliar place, coming into an unfamiliar setup, you know, not necessarily having the controls bound like you would normally have them. This is difficult, guys. So, and again, enormous props to everyone racing today. So Splend, talking about yourself here, you obviously stream on Twitch. You talk about practice makes perfect and putting in all the hours, and that's exactly what you do on your streams, right? You do so much for time trialing. You do so many hours of practice to set down these world records. So if people are interested in learning more about that and seeing you race and seeing you do the things you do, where did they go? Certainly you could watch my stream at twitch.tv/SplendShepherd. I mean, I'm always there to answer questions, always there to help get guys into racing and point them where to go. But outside of that, of course, when they ask me these questions, I point them directly to XGR, naturally. RaceXGR.com, I believe, correct? I didn't hear that.
That is correct.
Sorry. Yeah,
so that is the website to go to, RaceXGR.com, to get all of the, or watch Extreme G Racing on Twitch as well, as you are right now. But yeah, RaceXGR.com will lead you to the Discord where the wonderful racing community of XGR exists. And, you know, there's classes, there's documentation, there's tons and tons of resources for both new and experienced players of Star Citizen alike to get you on the right track of racing. Yeah, and we're going to be back tomorrow, of course, a little later than today.
hoping to have a bit of a bigger crowd, more participants roam in the halls and signing up to race the tournament. So if you are at Insomnia today or tomorrow, you can go ahead to the British Army eSports area and sign up for racing. We welcome you to participate with these guys, stand a chance at winning a Mustang Gamma, a Pisces, and Aurora. There's a whole bunch of things we're giving away together with the British Army, and we hope to see you there. And if you're just remote from anywhere else in the world, you can show up tomorrow and come and stream with us, watch the races, and it'll be, I believe it is 1400 UTC general time. No, that's UK time.
Yep,
so
Enigma
that
has
is
it in the chat there. Yep.
yeah, it's 1 p.m. UTC, 2 p.m. UK, and we can't wait to see you again there. Thank you so much for tuning in. And with that, unless you have any final words, Splen, we'll say 07.
Oh yeah, that's all I have to say is see you guys on the track. Hope you enjoyed yourselves and have a wonderful day.